What's going on everyone and welcome to the channel. My name's Jack and I'm a chef by trade, and my whole purpose for this channel is to give you 100% confidence in the kitchen as well as teach you absolutely everything I know. So in this one we're going to be creating the most fantastic pork loin chop that's glazed in a honey and garlic sauce and served with a beautiful garden salad. Please sit back, relax and enjoy. Alright guys, let's start this off with two 250 gram or 8.8 ounce pork chops, with this type of cut being the loin. These have also had their bone removed to make it easier to eat, but you're more than welcome to leave the bone in. With these, all we're going to do is give them a good pinch of sea salt flakes as well as a few cracks of black pepper, just for a basic seasoning. Once that's done, we can then flip them over and repeat the seasoning on the opposite side, which we can then leave to rest for 20 minutes to come to room temperature, which will result in a better crust and even cooking. The preparation for this dish is very quick, so here is 5 cloves of freshly peeled garlic, and all we're going to do is run each clove along a fine microplane or grater to create a smooth paste, which is also known as minced garlic. To get this cooking, place a large heavy base skillet onto your stovetop over a high heat, and once it's really hot, pour in 1 tablespoon or 15 milliliters of olive oil. We can then proceed by carefully placing in our pork chops, to which we're going to sear for 2 minutes without disturbing them to create a beautiful golden crust. After 2 minutes and your chops are nice and golden, we can then flip them over, repeating the process for a further 2 minutes. Also, with creating that crust on the edges, it's going to lock in a lot of flavour and moisture, which will then result in them being juicy and extremely flavoursome. Now once the chops are golden brown on both sides, what we can then do is place them onto their fat cap for 1 minute to create a nice edible crust, and the best way to do this is to lean the chops against the side of the pan to hold them up, which I made look extremely awkward, but I'm sure you get what I'm saying. Anyway, once that's done, we can then remove the chops from the pan and place them onto a plate to rest. We now want to turn the pan down to a low heat and add in 2 tablespoons or 28 grams of unsalted butter, to which we're going to allow to melt. Then give the butter a quick mix to make sure that there's no lumps left and to pick up some of the flavour that's been left behind from the chops. Once fully melted, add in the garlic paste or minced garlic and saute this for only 15 seconds, moving it around the whole time to release the flavour as well as preventing it from burning. After 15 seconds, carefully pour in 2 tablespoons or 30 milliliters of chicken or vegetable stock, which will be the base or carrier to our sauce, as well as adding a great depth of flavour. 1 tablespoon or 15 milliliters of apple cider vinegar for a nice acidic and tangy flavour, which will also very slightly help tenderize our chops. And last but not least, 2 tablespoons or 65 grams of honey, which is going to be the main flavour and thickener of the sauce, releasing sweet and floral notes. Once that's all in, we can give those flavours a good mix so that they can become friends, then increase the heat to high and bring the sauce to a light boil. Once at a light boil, reduce the heat back down to a medium, then give the sauce a stir and allow it to simmer away for 2 to 3 minutes or until it's slightly reduced and slightly thickened. So this has now been 2 minutes and the sauce is slightly thickened and reduced. We can then add the pork chops back into the pan, as well as any juices that have been left behind on the plate, which is all added flavour. Now what we're going to do is flip the chops over every 30 seconds for 2 minutes to allow the glaze to evenly coat and seep in. Also, whilst we're doing this, we're going to baste the chops with the glaze, which simply means spoon over the glaze, sauce or pan juices to keep the pork juicy. And for a quick little tip, if you carefully tilt the pan back, the glaze will create a pull, which makes it a lot easier to collect and redistribute the sauce. Anyway, after that 2 minutes, we can then turn this off the heat, remove it from the stovetop, and place it onto the top rack of a preheated oven set to 180 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit, also set on the grill or broiler setting for 2 minutes, just until the edges of the chops start to caramelize. Once the chops are deeply golden and caramelized, we can then carefully remove them from the oven, and we won't be needing the oven anymore, so we can turn it off. Now we can serve this by placing the chop or chops onto a nice large plate, and we can then spoon over that delicious golden glaze. Give these a little garnish of freshly chopped flat leaf parsley. Then really quickly, I'm just going to whip up a fresh garden salad by placing a big handful of rocket or arugula into a bowl, then adding in a quarter of a cucumber that's been very thinly sliced, 6 to 8 cherry tomatoes that have been quartered, a quarter of a small or red Spanish onion that's been very thinly sliced, and 1 very thinly sliced red radish. Then for a quick dressing, slice 1 lemon in half and squeeze in the juice of half a lemon, saving the other half for another dish, drink, or to squeeze on the pork chops. Drizzle over 1 tablespoon or 15 milliliters of extra virgin olive oil and season with a small pinch of sea salt flakes and a few cracks of black pepper. We can then give this a really good mix, making sure that the dressing is fully coating everything and the vegetables are evenly spread throughout. Then back to the pork chops, we can place down that beautiful quick salad or serve it in a separate bowl, which is completely up to you. And how good does that look? This then leads to one of the best parts about cooking, which is that we can then dig in. So just like that, we've created the most fantastic, juicy and tender pork loin chop that's glazed in the most amazing honey and garlic sauce. The salad is optional, but it is a healthier option, but you can just serve it with some stuff like vegetables, rice, pasta, or one of my favorites, if you haven't seen the video already, is potato bake, which I'll definitely leave my link to in the description below. To store this, you can place this in an airtight container and place it in the fridge where it will last up to 3 days. However, I wouldn't recommend freezing it, but there is an option you can do. If you like to make the sauce ahead of time or make extra sauce, you can just add extra ingredients and then take out what you need and place that into the freezer. It's just the pork can get a little bit dry, so you don't really want to be putting that in there. To reheat it, just place it back into a pan over a medium heat and just heat it up till it's nice and hot. The sauce may need a little bit more stock just to get it running again, but other than that, it'll be absolutely fantastic. I really hope you enjoyed this video and I was able to teach you something. If you did, be sure to smash that like button and consider subscribing to see hundreds of more fantastic recipes. Thanks for watching everyone, stay safe and enjoy.